In this video, I'm going to show you step by step exactly how I grew a crypto project from a $50 million market cap to a $200+ million market cap, achieving $170 million worth of appreciation in their market capitalization within those 6 weeks. Let's get into the playbook. So step one was making sure that the project was ready for growth. What I mean by this is having the right growth foundations. You can't just go and launch a growth campaign if there's something fundamentally wrong underneath the hood. Let me explain. Let's say you push the most amazing growth campaign, but 50% of the supply of the token is out there in bad actors' hands or other people's hands that you're not sure of who they are. They're just going to sell against all of your great work. That's one example of having a growth foundation in a bad place. The opposite is making sure that you understand the supply side of the market so that when you do launch a very good growth campaign, it's not going to be sold against. The second thing we look at when we're looking at growth foundations is there an actual product here? Is it a real business that can generate revenue and benefit from other ways around that growth campaign, not just token appreciation? Now, the headline of this video is of course token appreciation, but a lot of that comes from having a real product, a real business model, and then on top of that, having the token that you're using as a growth asset, not just a monetization, so that when you do experience appreciation in the price of the token, you can create a network effect, because the appreciation increases over time and the community are being rewarded because they hold the tokens in that project. So that appreciation directly benefits them. Now, all of that is very hard to do if you don't have a sustainable growth system and good foundations underneath you. Sometimes it's very hard for us coming into a project that is way past post TGE to actually cause a big impact on the token side, depending on where it's at. So the first thing we always have to look at is the growth foundations and try and make the best of the current situation. Anyway, step two is narrative hacking. That's what we did in this campaign. The project itself was a very high utility project. They built great tech, but they were pitching it to an audience that they didn't really care anymore. And we realized that the technology they were building had a great use case in AI. So what we decided to do was build this whole growth campaign around moving that project's narrative into AI and starting to serve AI companies and clients. So it moved from something that was, oh yeah, we know about that project, we've heard about it, it's not that cool, into something that was cool, that was the shiny new object, because they moved into an attractive narrative that was grabbing all of the headlines at the time. And as I mentioned, this one thing, this narrative framing pretty much led the whole campaign. So everything we did that I'm gonna discuss now after that all came back to that narrative. So step three was pushing that narrative out there. So this contained different activations. So activations in terms of we were using micro KOLs and we were using a lot of organic growth hacks to be able to drum up new awareness for this campaign. So essentially all we were trying to do is get new eyeballs that were in the AI narrative onto this project because they weren't aware of the project. Even though it was an existing project, it's been around for a few years, they weren't aware of it because it wasn't within their narrative. So we had to find these channels, these distribution elements that could bring the AI audience into this project. And one absolute key thing that we did here is we partnered with a lot of existing AI projects that were well regarded in the space, and we did a lot of co-marketing with them. So we not only got great awareness from this, but we strengthened our authority within AI to show that we were actually doing stuff within this narrative. We weren't just saying, oh, we're in the AI narrative, we were doing stuff proactively with big partners in that narrative. And that part is really key. Otherwise, it's just smoke and mirrors. You actually do need to act on what you're gonna say and cement that narrative, build that authority, and that's what we did here. Step four was all about community. Whenever you're trying to grow something in your marketing, you've got to send these people somewhere. And because the main KPI for this project was improving token metrics, we wanted to bring people into the community first, and then from there, we'd have more token holders joining the project based on their experience in the community. So within the community, we did things like build an army. So we pulled out the most keen members and gave them a private experience so that they really held up the fort in the community over this campaign and after the campaign as well. On top of the army, we ran different engagement campaigns to try and really engage, and I've said it twice, but engage the community members to want to participate and stay in the community. And also, because everything else was working very well and Token was appreciating, we built a really good environment and culture. And the final thing I'd say here is that the storytelling in the community was spot on around this new shape into AI. So even the existing community members were very excited, which prevents them from thinking, oh, you know what? I'm going to dump this token now it's appreciating. They liked the vision and what was actually taking place and all the preparation, the growth foundations that had been formed by the project before starting this campaign. And the final step was the token growth. We nailed all of the previous stages, so token growth was natural to come from all of that. People wanting to join the project, be a part of this. Also, when a token starts to appreciate, and it was appreciating a lot more rapidly compared to other tokens in the market, that is great marketing in itself, right? Your chart, green candles, amazing marketing. So much organic earned media comes from that. And that was kind of the final step of the campaign, to leverage all of that if we've got every other stage right, to go and excel all of the other efforts. And if I was to add a final step, it would be the swinging back round to the community side. As the token was appreciating, the community members start to talk more about it on socials, within their communities, because they've had such a positive experience from being a part of the project. And that's really what then leads and drives the further awareness, which you haven't had to pay for, activations and channels that haven't cost you anything, that continues to fuel that growth loop that I pretty much just explained. So yeah, coming towards the end of this video now, that is exactly how we took a project from a $50 million market cap to north of $200 million within just a 6-week period. None of this is brain science. But one thing I would love to say here is that marketing alone will not get you here. There has to be a lot of thought put into the growth foundation. There has to be a lot of thought into activations within the business and on a product level as well. It's not just about marketing. We never get these results if we just pushed out marketing, created loads of noise, created speculation and hype. We wouldn't have got to where we did. And obviously there were other KPIs that I've not mentioned in this video that were enhanced during this campaign for the business for other types of growth. And that's pretty much what I've been saying for the last 2 years. Growth in crypto doesn't just come down to marketing. It comes down to leveraging all the different types of growth and building a real growth system that enhances all of these types of growth. That's why I set Magnet up in the first place. And where the market is now, lots of altcoins very far down because they haven't built real growth systems and foundations. They're starting to listen. And if you're watching this and you are a builder of a Web3 project, a crypto project, you like some of the stuff that I've said here, then what I'm gonna do is leave a link in the description of my video, which is gonna take you to be able to book a free strategy session with our team, where we'll examine your current project, audit it, understand what you're missing from a growth perspective, and tell you that, so that you can build a project for tomorrow that's still gonna be here, and not just a project for today that is waiting for an eventual death. Thank you so much for watching the video, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one.